Hello everyone and welcome to the third edition of the Save the Crew vlog. Before we get into it today, I want to go ahead and read the first piece of viewer mail that I've received. It's from a guy named Rambo Gooner, and he wants to know what the word vlog means. That's actually a good question. I'm surprised I haven't covered this yet. It's actually a combination of the word video and the word blog. So it's like a video blog, and you just kind of like change it to vlog, which is easier to say. So thanks to Bo Gooner who sent this in. I'm going to definitely keep it on hand, and feel free to send anything else my way. I'll definitely answer any questions you might have. So thanks, Bo. Today's topic of conversation is why are they staying quiet? And I mean Don Garber and Anthony Precourt when I say they. They are the two people behind the scenes that are trying to take this team from the city. Since the announcement came down, you may have noticed a tremendous lack of response from both Garber and Precourt. They've made a habit out of not saying anything despite the tremendous outrage and backlash after they decided to try to take this team from us. Now, I'm sure you're all aware that Columbus Crew SC was eliminated from the playoffs on Wednesday night with a 1-0 loss at Toronto. Anthony Precourt decided after the game around 1 a.m. to end his 6-week hiatus from Twitter and tweet something out about the team losing and being eliminated. You might be saying to yourself, why does that matter? Why is that a big deal? And to that I would say it had been 6 weeks since Anthony Precourt had tweeted anything. 6 entire weeks. And I just thought it might be relevant to go through the facts and see what had happened in the 6 weeks in between his tweets that may have generated a response. First and foremost, the Save the Crew movement was born here in Columbus, and we hosted a rally at City Hall that had 2,000 people in attendance and 2,000 more watching via live stream. So we had an event centered around the team that he owned where 4,000 people were paying attention, and there was no response to that. Not to 4,000 people paying attention to the thing that he is invested in. Nothing. Crew SC went on the road in the first round of the playoffs and beat Atlanta United in front of 100 billion people in their new soccer stadium after extra time in penalty kicks in one of the most exciting postseason games in the history of Major League Soccer. He tweeted nothing about that. No congratulations to the players, no attaboy, nothing. There was no response. In the next round of the playoffs, an underdog Columbus side took on NYCFC at Monterey Stadium and put a drubbing on him to the tune of 4-1, including a late stoppage time beautiful goal from Harrison Awful that proved to be the difference in that series. There were allegations from fans both inside and outside of Columbus, along with multiple media organizations that said that Precourt Sports Ventures intentionally limited the entry points to Crew fans and then misrepresented how many fans were actually at the game. That same day, a lobbyist in Austin, Texas by the name of Mark Littlefield filed paperwork declaring that he was working on behalf of Precourt Sports Ventures to bring Columbus Crew to Austin, Texas. Now, all of that happened on that same day, and no response. No tweets from Anthony Precourt. Nothing. The Crew then went on the road to Yankee Stadium against NYCFC as underdogs and got the result that they needed to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. No congratulations, nada, zip, zero. Shortly after that, the founder of Brewdog, James, came out and said publicly that he wanted to help do whatever it took to keep the Crew in Columbus. And that was a big deal. That's a huge global name recognized by everybody that says that he wants to help work with Precourt to keep the team in town. Nothing. Local Crew fan Tim Myers then put together and released a report called What's the Truth? That tore apart all of Precourt Sports Venture and Major League Soccer's false narrative talking points. No response. Former Ohio State Buckeye and Columbus Crew goalkeeper Matt Lamson, now with the Chicago Fire, went on the World of Bone podcast hosted by 97.1 The Fan's Jonathan T-Bone Smith and says that he knows for a fact that Precourt cut the budget for the marketing department in Columbus, and then alleges that Precourt was never interested in making it work in Columbus to begin with. Again, silence, no tweets. Anthony Precourt and Don Garber then meet with local representation from Columbus in Mayor Andrew Ginther and President of the Columbus Partnership, Alex Fisher, to talk about the team's future in this city, to get back to the bargaining table. No tweets. Yeah, there was a very brief official statement released from PSV. No reason to compose and post a tweet. Fast forward to last week, and Columbus is hosting TFC in Leg 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We are 2 games away from hosting MLS Cup, and nothing. After the 0-0 tie, NBC Sports alleges that PSV again intentionally restricted access to Crew fans. A pretty serious allegation. I mean, that's a pretty serious allegation. And yet nothing. You didn't hear anything from him. No reason to tweet after that. So when was the Twitter silence officially over from Anthony Precourt? At 1 a.m. after the Crew were eliminated from the playoffs. The statement that you are trying to move the team comes out during the regular season. And then your team advances to one goal within hosting MLS Cup. Nothing. Silence. From his announcement during the regular season that he was trying to move this team through the birth of the Save the Crew movement, through all of the allegations that came to light, through 3 playoff series. Nothing. No tweets. Complete and total radio silence from Anthony Precourt's Twitter account. Now, on the other end of the dynamic duo, we have Don Garber. Alexi Lalas tweets the day before Leg 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals that he's going to have an interview live on national television with Don Garber before the start of the game. He asks fans to submit their questions. He says, well, what should I ask this guy? Well, that tweet exploded, and an overwhelming majority of the responses to that tweet were very pro-Save the Crew. Fast forward to pregame, and Don Garber is mysteriously stuck in traffic and unable to do the interview, which was then not rescheduled for halftime or after the game. He just happens to be completely unavailable after all of those responses to that original tweet. So you have more silence in the situation from the powers that be. What a really unfortunate coincidence that right after all of those responses came through, traffic became unbearable. Myself and 99 other Crew fans were on buses coming to the stadium in that same rush hour traffic, and we figured out how to get there. I don't know what kind of vehicle Don Garber was in, but I'm assuming it would be easier to navigate than 2 coach buses. So, why the continued silence despite the biggest PR disaster in league history? 2 reasons. 1, they're responsible for it, and 2, they think their silence is going to work. Now, what do I mean when I say work? I mean that they believe that if they don't respond to you, you will go away. And not just Crew fans either, not just us here in Columbus. I'm talking about all the people all over the country that are outraged by this deception. Supporters in every city all over America, journalists, business owners, local leaders, government officials. Nobody is getting a response from these guys because they think by ignoring you, by staying silent, that you will forget about it and ultimately move on to something else. Are they right? Will this premeditated act of cowardice prove to be an effective game plan for them? The history books will record the answer to this question, but you get to decide what that answer is. You get to set the tone and establish not just how we are going to be treated right now, but how Major League Soccer will treat the people and the communities that they put into this situation in the future. And they will put other communities through this. They've shown what kind of people they really are. And the best time to stand up for all of the people that they want to put through this in the future is right now. Using their silence, they want you to stop. Don't do it. Don't stop. Do not back down. Continue to make your voices heard. Stand up for the facts and reject false narratives. And do not let the indifference to emotional suffering become the standard operating procedure for Major League Soccer. So to recap, why do they continue to stay silent? Because they think it will work. You get to decide whether or not they're right. Thank you for watching, and Save the Crew.
The future of Columbus and the future of the Columbus Crew SC are tied together. We need each other to succeed.